Roughly 8 years ago, Chevrolet lit a fire in the pretty stagnant midsize truck segment with a very new entry. That was called the Chevrolet Colorado, and for 2023, the company is looking to do that again with the all-new second generation version. I'm at the 2022 Detroit Auto Show, so let's go ahead and take a first look. Now, before we start talking about the exterior styling, I want to show you guys what's powering the all-new Colorado for 2023. Now, in the previous generation, Chevy offered 3 different powertrains. Now, for 2023, they've simplified it with just one engine and 3 different power outputs. This is the company's 2.7-liter turbocharged, direct injected 4-cylinder engine. This is actually the same engine that we find in the Chevrolet Silverado, and a few Cadillac models use it. And GM is going to offer it in 3 different power outputs, ranging from 237 horsepower all the way up to 310 horsepower, which this one here is the ZR2 Desert Boss Edition, which means you have the higher output motor making 310 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. That's 2 more horsepower than the old V6, but like 120 more pound-feet of torque. So this actually has more torque versus the diesel engine in the previous generation. So those of you who are missing the diesel, this should effectively replace it, and it should be a lot quicker. And Chevrolet also says fuel efficiency should be among the tops in the segment. It all comes out or goes out through a one-choice 8-speed automatic transmission that is now in its second generation. It's a Chevrolet designed transmission. And then obviously this ZR2 Desert Edition is uses 4-wheel drive. It's got locking front and rear differentials. You can also get rear-wheel drive on this truck, but as of this filming, Chevrolet hasn't announced fuel economy. They did, however, announce towing. This will tow a maximum of 7,700 pounds, which is what they're claiming to be best in class. And I believe the payload is just under 1,600 pounds. So again, very impressive specs. This one here, being it's basically the most off-road capable one, is going to be a relatively heavy vehicle at a little over 5,300 pounds. But let's go ahead and close the hood of this truck because I want to show you guys the all-new exterior styling. Now, the previous generation Colorado came out around 2015, and it was definitely starting to look a little bit dated. For 2023, the company has really butched up the styling of this car. It takes a lot of influence from the all-new Silverado, and I really like the way this ZR2 looks, especially on the front fascia. The Desert Boss Edition has this unique front clip with this kind of safari bar here with an LED light bar with LED fog lights. This here is actually metal, which is really nice. It gives the truck a much more tougher appearance. You can see LED headlights are finally available on the Colorado. Previously, you couldn't even get LEDs. They offered like a projector halogen style bulb, but now if you guys go for the higher trims, base trims still come with halogens. You can see you have LED daytime running lights, incandescent turn signal over here, no fog lights right here. This is actually a fake vent. The fog lights are going to be down here in the safari bar. And then you can see the ZR2 has a unique front bumper that's really going to improve the approach angle. You also have real metal skid plates underneath this truck. It's lifted by about 3 inches compared to the standard model. This is going to be the one that's going to give you the most ground clearance at just under 11 inches. But moving around the side profile, you can see Chevy really has simplified the offerings for this truck in terms of the cab configurations. The old one offered an extended cab. You had a choice between a short and a longer bed. Now all the Colorados only come as a crew cab with a short bed. So you have the 5-foot bed. It's got a roughly 3-inch stretch in the wheelbase, and its overall length is around 213 inches long. It's around 131-inch long wheelbase. But let me talk about the wheels and tires really quick on this ZR2, because this model here has a 33-inch tall Goodyear Wrangler Territory all-terrain tire. This is one of the largest tires you can get in the segment. It's riding on a 17-inch beadlock capable wheels, and then you also have the company's DSSV Multimatic dampers, which again, impressive technology for off-roading. This is going to compete with something like the Tacoma TRD Pro and the hopefully the Ford Ranger Raptor if Ford decides to bring that here. These wheels are unique to the ZR2, and like I mentioned earlier, they are beadlock capable. There's some graphics that you're going to find on the fenders of this particular trim. You have black side mirrors. I don't particularly love where GM put the Colorado badge. It just looks like an afterthought. I think it's also too high. If they're going to stick a badge here, I think it should have been down here. You can see there are also these rock rails on the side, which is good because this is going to help protect the truck if you guys are planning to go into some serious off-road conditions. And then looking at the rear of the vehicle here, you can see this one here has a unique little accessory kit where it gives it, again, a much more tougher look. And then there's some Desert Boss badging here to give this truck, again, a unique feel to it. Now at the rear, I see a lot of influence from the Silverado, especially when I look at the taillights. Surprisingly, however, these taillights are an incandescent design with kind of like an LED light bar. For the accents when you have the headlights on. It looks like it has a incandescent turn signal. I like how Chevrolet is spelled out very proudly at the back tailgate of the truck. And then you can see here There is a full-size spare tire that's underneath the bed of the truck. That's important if you guys plan to go some serious off-roading. Now, in terms of the cargo area, you can see the tailgate is now damped, which is nice. And then you can also get the spray-in bed liner that my tester has over here. You can see here, it's a fairly large size bed. Remember, it's a 5-foot bed. For those of you who want a longer bed, Chevrolet has really simplified it, and they don't offer a longer 6-foot bed option. There is a power outlet back here, which offers about 400 watts there. Where it's just a standard plug, but again, it's not going to have any of that fancy stuff that you get from Ford. But one cool feature with this truck is actually when you look in here. I can fold this down here, actually open this up. This is a segment first in tailgate storage here. This is actually, it does have a drain, so you can use this as a cooler. You can also lock stuff in here. It is watertight if you need to put stuff in here. So again, this is a pretty deep size storage. It's really a game changer. No other truck in this segment offers it aside from the sister vehicle, the GMC Canyon, but I suspect a lot of owners are gonna find plenty of use of that. And then a typical truck, you can get the usual accessories like a bed extender, a bed cover, or some other accessories that may be useful for those of you who plan to use this as an actual truck. So I'm a huge fan of the exterior design of the all-new Colorado, but the interior is where GM really stepped up their game. Now, first of all, the door has a pretty solid sounding thunk. This does ride in an all-new frame, Chevrolet tells us. And then you can also see with the interior, the old Colorado was definitely starting to show its age with its small screen, its relatively cheap materials. This ZR2 Desert Boss Edition really steps that up. Although I will say that the materials aren't exactly luxurious from certain plastic. You can see the door panel here is a hard touch injection molded plastic. Same thing here with the upper part of the door panel, but however, I do love this area here where this is actually genuine stitching, it looks like. This is the same kind of leather material that you get on the seats. I love the contrast yellow stitching. I also like the new steering wheel and a lot of the new switch gear. You can see the turn signal stalk is also a new design. I haven't seen that before in any other GM product. Window controls feel pretty good. You have one touch up down windows for the front. The driver is automatic up and down. And then the steering wheel, as you can see, the truck has a tilt and telescoping wheel, but I will say that the adjustability isn't exactly very far. But in terms of premiumness and tech, this has really stepped it up. You can see there's a standard 11-inch display over here on the instrument panel. Sadly, I can't, well, actually, I can turn it on for you. Although the truck itself isn't actually on because I don't have the key. You can see this display is running their new Android or Google-based operating system where you can also give it the Google commands. It also has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto and over-the-air updates. This is one of the largest screens that you can get in this segment, which is nice. And then over here on the upper trims, you also have a full 11-inch digital cluster for the instrument panel. Now that I can't actually turn on for you, but if you guys go for a base or trim, you actually get an 8-inch instrument cluster along with the 11-inch display. So even the base work truck offers the 11-inch display, which is kind of a game changer for the mid-size truck segment. And now in terms of the seats, I actually think the seats are a huge improvement. I think they're very comfortable and supportive. Chevy now offers heated seats, which you couldn't get before, I believe, or at least it was kind of limited to the very high trims. My particular tester here also has an 8-way power driver seat with lumbar support. No memory seats, which again, I didn't really expect, but the leather and the padding just feels a lot better. I love the contrasting stitching that you'll find everywhere. And then over here on the center stack, you can see there are still traditional buttons to open all the windows. You've got lane keep assist. This truck now offers adaptive cruise control as part of a tech package. You have locking front and rear diffs, like I said earlier, because of the ZR2. And then the wireless charging pad here. The previous generation couldn't even hold my iPhone 12 Pro Max. This new one you can see has a much enlarged wireless charging pad. You also have two USB-C charging ports, or a USB-A and a USB-C. The 4-wheel drive selector is right here. This vehicle does offer an automatic function with this new kind of rotary dial with this touch sensitive button over here. And then this controls the 8-speed automatic transmission. Sadly, I can't actually show you guys what the cameras are like, but this truck now has 10 camera views and these new under chassis cameras for those of you who plan to do some serious off-roading. Now above me, you can see a sunroof is now available for the first time. It is sadly just a standard size sunroof, but I am surprised to see incandescent lighting throughout the cabin of the truck. Again, that's kind of an easy upgrade for those of you who want to actually, who plan to own this truck. You can easily swap those out. But let's go ahead and take a look at the back seat for this new Colorado, because GM basically said that most people were buying the crew cab configuration, so they wanted to leave it, or this is the only body style going forward. And getting back here, you can see the old one definitely didn't have the most spacious rear seat, and I can say even the new one with its 3-inch stretch in the wheelbase doesn't feel all that roomy. But Getting back here, if I had to estimate, there's probably around 34, 35 inches of legroom back here. The headroom space is good for me. There's actually a pretty good cutout here, but you can see the sunroof does eat into the space. Material quality back here is pretty much what I expected, hard touch plastic. Thankfully, you do have 2 storage pockets over here. There's rear seat air vents actually, which surprised me. No heated rear seats, but you do have 2 USB ports, a USB-C and a USB-A. These seats also do still kind of flip up, which I believe you have to like pull on something over here, which it's locked down, which I'll have to show you guys that later at another time. But fold this down, you can see there's an armrest here that has 2 cup holders. This rear window is a manual sliding window, but I'm surprised it's not power. At least it kind of gives you access to the bed. But overall, the back seat is certainly usable, but there are competitors in this segment that have a larger back seat for those of you who need it. So with the midsize truck segment heating up from new competition, it was very important for Chevrolet to bring us an all-new version of the Colorado. After seeing this truck for the first time here at the Detroit Auto Show, I'm pretty impressed with what Chevrolet is offering here. I think they really stepped up their game in terms of the styling, the capability. I like how they simplified the engine lineup with 1 4-cylinder turbo and 3 different power outputs, and the interior is just a huge upgrade. Now, speaking of which, if you guys are looking to purchase this truck, it will be going on sale in the spring of 2023. And while Chevrolet hasn't announced pricing just yet, the current model starts at around $27,000, goes up to around $42,000. I'm going to expect this truck to be a lot more expensive because they have gotten rid of the baser extended cab configuration. So don't be surprised to see a starting price around the mid $35,000 range, with this model here easily topping over $50,000, which again will bring the Colorado into some new territory, but the company has really injected some technology, some capability, and just some style into a truck that was really needing it. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview for Redline reviews here at the 2022 Detroit Auto Show. I'm Sofyan Bey.